Shaquem Griffin has been proving people wrong his entire life, but he's getting questioned again. Some scouts are going to act a little bit differently than others, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Brendan Albert is here. I am Adrian Fedku. Shaquem Griffin, what to make of the one-handed wonder?
You know, with Shaquem Griffin, to be completely honest with everyone, I think he is the most unprecedented player in this year's draft. And more importantly, I think you're going to see him have the largest range on where he is on different teams' draft boards. Some teams might say, look, he plays like a missile, awesome production in college. We can see him playing that will backer, maybe a rush, also doing a little coverage. We might have him as the 40th ranked player. Another team might say, hey, you know what? We've never seen a one-handed player before. So because of that, even though his production's there, we might have him as the 140th ranked player. I think of all draft boards, guys, Griffin is going to be the player who's going to be ranging the most. And because of that, to me, no matter where he's drafted, if he's drafted 35th or 135th, I will not be surprised.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about this last night. We think that a team like the Patriots or the Steelers, a team that really doesn't have a lot of holes to fill, a team that can kind of take a flyer, those are going to be the teams to watch out for when it comes to Griffin.
Exactly right, Adrian. You know, I don't think he's going to be one of those guys who's going to be a true plug-and-play player right away. I think he's going to be a sub-package guy. And when I'm saying things like sub-package, special teams, you're hearing all these terms. These are terms you talk about for mid-round guys. And I think that's probably where he's going to be. But to be honest with you guys, if he burns it up and all of a sudden he becomes a guy who's an all-Pro Bowl level player, I wouldn't be surprised one day because he was an All-American in college.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the tape, it's impressive. It really is. And it's not just because he's one-handed. I mean, this is some legit stuff that he's showing out on the football field. And what we're going to show, first of all, so some of the different pass rush moves that he can do, he's at his best when he's with the speed rush, bending the edge, dip around the edge, shoulder dip to get around the tackle. And that's the first thing we're going to look at. So this is against Maryland, and you're just going to see him. This is him right here. And look at him just fly by on the speed rush.
He has a fantastic get-off first step, getting a lot of depth and being low. Awesome job here of running the hula hoop here. And you can see this tackle's got no chance to really get into him. If I'm critical, and this is the same thing we talked about with guys like Barnett and a guy like Jordan Willis who got drafted and had a really good year for the Bengals, you guys need to improve at having a little more power to, instead of running such a wide hoop, to kind of be able to force the tackle back a little bit. That's the only reason the quarterback's able to get away on this play. But there's no doubt that his ability off the edge is elite level NFL talent.
Yeah, just look at that dip. Look at that shoulder, just dip below the hand of the tackle, and he's forcing the quarterback to scramble to the outside.
Absolutely. You know, and I should preference this, guys. When I say elite, I'm talking about ability to play in the NFL, not necessarily a first, second round pick. But his ability and his versatility is fantastic. His combine numbers clearly showed how much of a great athlete he is.
Yeah. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at, another pass rush move. So we're going to see a little bit of what they call a dead leg. Talk about the dead leg.
The dead leg, man. LaShawn McCoy is the king of this in the NFL, but the dead leg's not something you only see on offense. You see it in the defense. So what you're going to kind of watch here is a dead leg is going to be a hard plant with your foot, and it's going to look like it kind of bends like a straw here with the left foot right there. Woo! That's what causes that tackle to shift because he thinks that hard left plant outside, Griffin's coming out, and all of a sudden Griffin is able to give the dead leg, come back underneath. Awesome job here being a really diverse athlete.
And I'll tell you what, I know Auburn didn't really show up for the Peach Bowl because you really didn't have anything to play for. You were in a playoff position, and then all of a sudden you lost, and you're playing in the Peach Bowl against UCF. But his tape in this game, his most impressive tape of the year.
Absolutely. If you want to be someone to really learn about the highs of him, go watch the Auburn game. He had 33 pass rush attempts, and he got home on about a third of them. That doesn't necessarily mean sack. I'm talking about pressures, hurries, sacks, etc. On about a third of them, he's getting in the way of disrupting that quarterback. This is a great tape for you guys to watch if you really want to see what's the upside in Griffin.
Yeah, you don't need two hands for a dead leg.
No.
Or a shoulder dip.
No, and if you're quick enough off the ball like he is, it's not as big of a deal about whether he has one hand or two, as long as you're explosive off the ball, and he is.
Yeah. Next thing we're going to look at, his spin move, and it's quick. It's lightning quick.
He's going to do an awesome job here. If you guys think about basketball, right, we think about, guards or forwards, more importantly, getting the ball in the post, getting those elbows out and turning. It's going to be the exact same motion we're going to see here with that left elbow. He's going to come through, boom, left elbow is going to hit him right on the hip. That tackle's got no chance to recover now. These are the things, guys, that if Griffin's not necessarily going to be an ideal person with getting off blocks, obviously because of the hand situation, his explosiveness, you can see here in these last 3 clips, more than makes up for it.
Yeah, and let's play all these back again in fast motion just so you can see that explosion that he does possess.
Great idea.
I mean, he's got it.
Yeah, his explosiveness off the edge is certainly ready for the NFL. This is not a question here.
So there's the shoulder dip and the bend. Then we're going to get to the stanky leg, the dead leg. It's not a stanky leg, but it's the dead leg. But I called it stanky leg. And then the spin.
Hits the B button on him. Right there. That's sweet, man.
You don't need 2 hands for that.
Now, here's where I think his real value is in the NFL. I remember when I was young, I remember watching the Panthers draft. The Panthers drafted Thomas Davis. Ooh. And I remember thinking, man, I know Thomas Davis is good coming out of Georgia, but I didn't really get the value. The Panthers were playing in the same division as Michael Vick, and they needed an athlete who can spy. This is where Griffin's unbelievable ability on third down is going to be as a spy. His ability to move sideline to sideline, stay square, and then be able to get downhill when it's time to go is elite level for the NFL.
Yeah. And you know what? I really should be playing this in fast motion so you can see just how quickly he can close. I mean, he's – look at this. And there he goes. Bam! He's like a bullet.
It's awesome. And plays with a ton of passion, which I love. I love that.
Yeah. 3rd and 10, he's not even getting 5.
No.
All right, so we're about to look at an interception. Some people might be wondering, can he actually catch a football? Well, he can, and we're going to see it right now. And
this is a fair concern, that people have, is, okay, well, we know you can tackle, we know you can run, but can you catch? Now, he's going to be a body catcher by nature just because of, what situation he's in. He does an awesome job here of walling that receiver outside to essentially make himself become the receiver, pins the ball to his chest, and then is able to go down the field and make plays happen.
Yeah, you know what? Let's look at the fast speed here too, because look at him take this back. Look at the speed. I mean, there's a reason why he wowed people at the combine. Look at him move, man.
Yep, he's a zoomer. He had 3 career interceptions during his time at UCF, about 1 a year. So, he's not necessarily a complete ball hawk, but you're not really looking for ball hawks at the outside linebacker position. I think he's a will linebacker as that kind of guy who's the hybrid of can match up with your athletic tight end like a Jordan Reed, but can also come off the edge.
Now, they teach you in football to not pick up a fumble with one hand. Well, unfortunately, that's all Shaq Griffin's got. But honestly, it might be all he needs because this is sick. This is awesome, this play.
And we're going to –
actually, you know what? It might not even be it. No.
Yeah, we're going to see that in a minute here. The clip
– I got it wrong. This is him in zone. This is him in zone and showing his fluidity. My bad.
Yep. And what you're going to see him in this clip here, he's going to make a nice zone turn, and he's going to make the zone turn without having to take 2 steps. That's a big thing for linebackers and for safeties. Can you open up your door hinge? Can you open up your hips similar to how a door swings and in one motion get around? Awesome job here by Shaquem Griffin. You're going to see him pretty much at the top of the screen running. Plant that foot, open up the left, and now get right underneath and into the window. It's an awesome job here by him.
Yeah, that is awesome. I got so excited about the fumble. I wanted to show it so bad that I forgot about this play.
This is a great play, though, of looking at that hip flexibility. Plants the right foot, swings the left foot, get right underneath the throwing window, right inside. It's awesome. And he's more than athletic enough as far as straight line speed to make plays happen, too.
So we're seeing some of the versatility that he can bring. Pass rush, coverage, zone, quarterback spy. Okay, here it is. And this is amazing.
This is the definition of being a badass. Just straight up. Definition.
It's so awesome.
I mean, honestly, I watched this play about 3 or 4 times, and it just brought a smile to my heart because it's one of those plays you see and you're just like, man, you are a badass. That's all it is. Does a great job at dropping his weight in his hips so he can kind of pick up the ball, similar to like a center fielder does of a dribbler out to him. I just love it. I mean, how can you not root for a guy like this?
Oh my God. And he made it look easy. That's not easy. Not easy at all. All right. So unfortunately, now we're going to look at some things that some of his weaknesses. And you talked about it already, but we'll talk about it again. You talked about the hula hoop, and well, sometimes he goes a bit too far.
You get a little bit wide here, and here's the problem with Griffin. Great speed rusher, needs to improve at power, especially in the lower body. When he gets held up, too often it's over for him. So if he's not winning with finesse, he's not winning with power. He can get a little too wide here, and that gives the quarterback the opportunity to step up. Now, you go against guys like Rodgers, you got to go against guys like Cam Newton, those type of athletes. They're going to step up, reset their feet, or they're going to step up and make plays happen with their feet. So this is a bit of a problem we have with Griffin, is he has a tendency of getting too wide because he relies on the speed, not necessarily the power, and being able to force the tackle back into closing the pocket.
Now, to be fair with him, I believe he's only got 1 year of pass rush experience. So he can learn this.
Certainly, and this is something that it's about getting in the weight room and really being committed to it. And I am not saying by any means he's not. It's just something we got to improve on. To be honest with you, every player in the NFL draft this year, even Saquon Barkley, has holes in their games. I think this is one of them for Griffin.
Yeah. And the next thing we're going to look at, speed to power. So he's only got one arm. How can he really translate speed to power with just one arm? And we're going to look at this example here. He's trying to blitz, and he gets held up by the offensive lineman.
Yeah, he's going to get completely stonewalled here, and by very much a literal definition. Just boom, gets popped, and there's nothing. The play's over for him now. Now all he can do is jump, try to get his hands up there into the throwing window, and that's the best case scenario. But again, doesn't have a ton of power as a rusher. He's pretty much just a speed rusher right now.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's okay. A guy like Elvis Virgo for years pretty much made his living almost exclusively off speed, eventually added power to his game. But there's a lot of guys in the league who had long careers being just speed rushers.
And that's going to be one of his concerns. All right, how can he get off blocks? But you know what? When you look at even some of the top guys in this draft, a guy like Raquan Smith, he can't exactly get off blocks. So maybe his position, maybe playing some weak side linebacker for Griffin, where he doesn't have to take on as many blocks, where he's allowed to just roam free a lot more. And I look at Raquan Smith, and you're probably looking at that same situation for him.
I think that's fair. Levante David's a guy in the league that had the same type of concerns. Telvin Smith, another guy, had the same type of concerns coming out. They weren't great with taking on blocks. Malik Jefferson's another prospect this year. So, if you're willing to say, oh, well, he can't get off blocks, okay, that's probably a fair criticism. But you also have to give that same criticism to two other really high NFL draft picks this upcoming season.
Exactly. And I kind of wanted to stress that point because, so many people are just discounting him because he's only got one arm. Well, how's he going to get off blocks? There are some NFL players in this draft, like we just explained, that can't get off blocks consistently.
Yeah. And again, look, every NFL player has holes in their game, whether you're Tom Brady or, Freddie Mitchell. Some guys have more holes in their game, but everyone has a hole in their game. Absolutely.
And we're going to look at it again with the next play here, in terms of physicality. This is with a tight end at the line of scrimmage. Kind of struggles a little bit.
This play is just not a good look for him. It just makes it look – ever since you're taught in middle school, you're always taught, hey, the tight end never gets a free release. Tight end never gets a free release. Tight end never gets a free release. He not only is he letting the tight end get a free release on his clip, he almost jumps back. He really allows the tight end not only a free release to go block his backer, because he's going to jump back on this clip that Adrian's going to show us here. He eventually is going to get crushed here by a block. The one concern that some prospects or scouts I have read is question his physicality, and this is not a good clip of it here.
Yeah, so, is he what's going on? He's not, afraid to engage with the tight end. Did he just forget to do it?
I have a hard time thinking you forget to, engage the tight end, which is something that's middle school level.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those plays, unfortunately, the defensive coordinator pulls you aside and says, okay, tell me what happened. Either you forgot or you intentionally are afraid of collision. You pick. Which one was it? It's hard to argue there's any other scenario that he was thinking here when he jumps out of the way, lets the tight end go free, and then kind of takes on the block and doesn't really make a great deal of effort. And even if Adrian goes this play full speed, it's not a good look.
No, it's not. But these are going to be his concerns. And there you go.
Not a good look. Not a good look for what you want from being a physical player.
Yeah. All right, next thing we're going to look at, he's in the slot. He's in man-to-man. He's covering. But his back pedal, a little bit too high.
Yeah, way too high here. You guys are going to see this. It looks like when he starts his back pedal, he's on his toes, and after about the second or third stride, he gets to his heels. Quick receivers, guys who make killings in the slot, they would eat him alive. Look how tall he is here, man. That just can't happen. You do that in the NFL, man, your lunch is going to get taken from you. You can't be that high in man coverage. And if he plays a will backer, some point in time, he's going to have to play man coverage on slot receivers.
There you go. You can actually see the separation. He just doesn't go his way. That's Maryland quarterbacking for you.
Maryland went through like 6 quarterbacks, I think, last year too. I feel bad for them, man.
Yeah. We're going to be doing like receivers next, and trying to evaluate DJ Moore is so difficult because like there's so many times the quarterback just can't get him the ball.
Although to be fair, Calvin Ridley wasn't exactly getting NFL play quarterback at Alabama either last year.
That's true. Well, we got it in the championship game once Tua took over.
I know it.
So there you go. There you see it. All right, so those are our Shaquem Griffin clips. And I would say that we're probably higher on him than, say, other people would be. I don't know. I don't know how other people view him. Everybody's obviously rooting for him to be successful at the next level. But I think he's got a future. I think he's got a shot. If you play him in the right role, he can do something in this league.
I think his thing is it's just unprecedented situation. I mean, there's a reason that these type of situations are kind of ranging. When I did my mock of him, skill, I think he's probably a mid-second to early third skill kind of range guy. But, I mean, if he goes in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I think that's probably fair. If he goes 80s, 90s, 100s, I also understand why teams might do it. It's not right. It's not wrong. We all have situations that we're born into that aren't fair. His, of course, is a very, very massive one. But like I said with him, wherever he gets drafted, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, because like I said, I think of all prospects this year, his name is going to be the most different on draft boards versus if you got all 32 draft boards and averaged them out, I think a lot of other guys would be very, very consistent in that number.
Yeah, and you use the word unprecedented. I mean, it really is. We've never seen anybody like this before. So how do you evaluate somebody you've never seen before?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest benefit of him not only is his play speed, which obviously you guys saw, dude's a missile out there. This is character. I mean, look at like a guy like Jamal Adams. Obviously, he went really high to the Jets, but everyone's talked about how much of a culture leader he is. He's changing things. So if he goes to a team that says, you know what, we need a leader here in our locker room, it's hard to find a better one than him.
All right, so that was Shaquem Griffin. That is Brennan Albert. I am Adrian Fedku. I must say, this was probably the funnest player that we've looked at so far. I had a lot of fun watching that tape.
Yeah, he's a blast. He's a blast to watch tape. He's a blast to watch live games. He's a blast to watch in the interviews, his combine. Everything about him is a blast. Of course, everyone's rooting for him here. His draft journey will be very, very unique. And he actually was invited to the NFL draft as well.
Nice. Just don't doubt him, because if you do, he'll prove you wrong. That's what Shaquem Griffin does. All right, guys, we're out. Peace.
Appreciate it.